Hey there, America, it's your old pal, John Oliver, here to talk about something that's about as fun as a root canal tariffs. Specifically, the tariff tango that our commander-in-chief seems to have gotten us into. Now, I'm no economist, but even I can tell you that something's not quite adding up with this whole trade war business. See, the Donald reckons these tariffs are gonna do two things. First, he says they'll bring in a cool $6 trillion from those sneaky foreigners. Second, he promises they'll bring back good old American manufacturing jobs, the kind that pay a decent wage and make a fella proud. Now here's the kicker. These two goals, they're about as compatible as a vegan at a BBQ. You see, slapping tariffs on imports means things get more expensive for us, the American consumer. And if things are more expensive, well, we buy less of them. That means folks might not be so keen on setting up shop here if no one's buying what they're selling. So, while the Donald's busy bragging about all the cash he's raking in from tariffs, he seems to be forgetting that it's coming out of your pockets, America. And those manufacturing jobs he promised, well, let's just say they're not exactly lining up to come back. More on that later. But for now, just remember, when it comes to tariffs, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Someone's always footing the bill, and spoiler alert, it's usually you. Now, let's talk about those manufacturing jobs. Remember the good old days when America was the factory of the world? We built cars, TVs, toasters, you name it. And those jobs? They put food on the table, sent kids to college, and built the American middle class. But somewhere along the way, the story goes, those sneaky foreigners came along and stole those jobs away. They offered cheaper labor, cut corners, and shipped their goods back to our shores, leaving American factories empty and workers out in the cold. Well, here's the uncomfortable truth. Those jobs didn't so much get stolen as they did evolve. You see, while we were busy clinging to the past, the rest of the world was racing ahead, embracing new technologies and automating their factories. And those robots? They don't need coffee breaks, pensions, or unions. They just work, tirelessly and efficiently, churning out goods at a pace no human could ever match. So, while the Donald's out there promising to bring back manufacturing jobs, he's ignoring the elephant in the room. Those jobs are gone, replaced by a new breed of worker, the robot. And no amount of tariffs is gonna change that. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not some Luddite who wants to smash every machine in sight. Automation is a fact of life, and it's here to stay. But we need to be honest about its impact on the job market. Manufacturing in America is actually doing pretty well these days. Output is at record highs and factories are humming. But here's the catch, they're not humming with the sound of human workers. They're humming with the whir of robots, the clanging of automated assembly lines, and the beeps and boops of sophisticated machinery. This isn't some dystopian future, folks, it's the present. And it means that bringing back manufacturing jobs isn't as simple as slapping tariffs on foreign goods. We can't turn back the clock on technological progress. What we need to do is adapt, retrain our workforce, and prepare for the jobs of the future, not cling to the jobs of the past. Now let's talk about the unintended consequences of this tariff tango. See, when you make it more expensive to import goods, you're not just hurting those foreign companies. You're hurting American businesses too. Think about it. Many American companies rely on imported components and materials to make their products. Those higher costs get passed down the line, making American goods more expensive and less competitive both here and abroad. And it's not just the big guys feeling the pinch. Small businesses, the backbone of our economy, are getting squeezed too. They often lack the leverage to negotiate lower prices or find alternative suppliers, so they're stuck eating the costs. And that means higher prices for consumers, job losses, and slower economic growth. Section 5 walls don't build factories, immigration, and the labor crunch. Now let's talk about another elephant in the room. Immigration. You see, even if by some miracle we could magically resurrect all those lost manufacturing jobs, we'd still have a problem finding people to fill them. America, like many developed nations, is facing a labor shortage. Our population is aging, birth rates are declining, and there simply aren't enough skilled workers to go around. And here's where immigration comes in. For generations, immigrants have helped fill the gaps in our labor market, taking on jobs that Americans either couldn't or wouldn't do, but the current administration's restrictive immigration policies are making it harder for businesses to find the workers they need. So we've got a double whammy here. Tariffs are making it more expensive to do business in America, and immigration policies are making it harder to find workers. It's a recipe for economic disaster. Section 6. A global trade tango, the perils of protectionism in an interconnected world. Now, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. We live in a globalized world, folks. Goods, services, and capital flow across borders with the click of a mouse. Trying to seal ourselves off from the rest of the world with tariffs is like trying to swim upstream in a tsunami. It's futile and counterproductive. Tariffs invite retaliation. When we slap tariffs on goods from China, China retaliates with tariffs on our goods. It's a tit-for-tat trade war that hurts everyone involved. Consumers pay higher prices, businesses suffer, and the global economy takes a hit. The truth is, free and fair trade, when done right, benefits everyone. It allows countries to specialize in what they do best, increases competition, lowers prices for consumers, and creates jobs. Building walls, whether they be physical or economic, is not the answer. Section 7. The consumer's burden: how tariffs hit home. Okay, let's cut to the chase. Who's really feeling the pinch from this tariff tango? It's you, the American consumer. Remember those $6 trillion that Donald was bragging about? Yeah, that money's not magically materializing out of thin air. It's coming out of your wallets. Think about everything you buy: clothes, electronics, cars, groceries. Chances are, a lot of those goods, or at least the components that go into them, are imported. And guess what happens when you slap tariffs on those imports? That's right, the prices go up. Now you might be thinking, well, I'll just buy American-made products. But it's not always that simple. Sometimes there are no American-made alternatives, and even when there are, they often come with a hefty price premium. So the bottom line is this: tariffs are a hidden tax on consumers. They make everything more expensive, reduce your purchasing power, and leave you with less money in your pocket. And that's not exactly what I'd call making America great again. Section 8. History's warning: the perils of protectionism revisited. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, you're being awfully pessimistic. Maybe this time it'll be different. Maybe these tariffs will actually work. Well, I hate to break it to you, but history isn't exactly on our side here. Remember the Great Depression? Yeah, that little economic hiccup back in the 1930s? Well, guess what helped turn a recession into a full-blown global crisis? That's right, protectionist trade policies, including tariffs. See, when countries retreat into themselves, erect trade barriers, and engage in beggar-thy-neighbor policies, everyone loses. Trade dries up, economies stagnate, and the world becomes a more unstable and dangerous place. We've been down this road before, folks, and it doesn't lead anywhere good. It's time to learn from the mistakes of the past, not repeat them. Section 9. The Revenge of the Tariff Man: decoding the motives behind the trade war. So, if history tells us that tariffs are a bad idea, why is the Donald so keen on them? Well, there are a few theories floating around. Some say it's about protecting American jobs, even though, as we've established, that's a bit of a flawed premise. Others say it's about shrinking the trade deficit, even though the trade deficit isn't necessarily a bad thing, and tariffs are a blunt instrument for addressing it. But let's be honest, folks. This whole tariff tango has Trump's fingerprints all over it. It's impulsive, it's confrontational, and it's based on a fundamental misunderstanding of how the global economy works. It's a classic case of shooting first and asking questions later, and it's us, the American people, who are left to pick up the pieces. So, the next time you see the Donald bragging about winning his trade war, remember this: there are no winners in a trade war, only casualties. And it's long past time we stopped playing with fire and started engaging in some sensible economic policy. Until then, keep your wallets close, America, because the tariff man is coming for them.